Alright, moving on to my sophomore slash junior year thing. I don't really know what to call it since I did college in 3 years. Whatever you want to call it, my second year of college was also an amazing experience. I did a lot of growing, I got even more involved on campus and just had such an amazing time. For housing, I lived in a suite style dorm, which was definitely an upgrade over the freshman dorm because we still had sort of a community bathroom, but it was only shared between 4 girls instead of like over 10 girls. So it was lovely to have our own private bathroom that we really could use whenever we needed to. I also loved the style of the dorm because it had 2 double rooms and then in the middle was the bathroom, so we could kind of walk through that space into the other room and hang out with those other girls. I lived with 3 other girls from my freshman floor dorm, and it was really nice to continue to live with those girls because I've been pretty close with them freshman year, and just continuing to hang out with them all through my second year of college was a lot of fun. I also, I guess you could say I did things a little bit backwards because I had a single freshman year and then a double room my sophomore junior year. But honestly, having a roommate was such a fun experience for me. Bridget, if you're watching this, I love you so much, but you know that already. She was a girl that I had clicked with almost immediately. We were pretty much, I think, each other's first friend at Mason, and to get to live together was so cool because we're such similar people and we just worked really well together. If you're worried about having a roommate in college, don't worry too much because yes, conflicts can happen, but honestly, it's pretty likely that if not ending up being friends with your roommate, you'll at least be cordial with them and be able to figure out all the kind of boundaries, like when to turn the lights off at night and just kind of when each other are gonna shower or whatever. It's really not that hard to communicate, and that's probably my biggest advice, is to make sure that you are open and, you know, if you have a problem, just tell your roommate. Don't leave passive-aggressive notes because no one likes those and it doesn't get you anywhere. Overall, rooming with Bridget was such a positive experience. I love Bridget so much. It made us so close because we were with each other all the time and it was amazing. And you really get to know someone on a entirely different level when you live with them. It's not really, I can't explain it. I will say also that living in this style of dorm started to kind of give us a taste of like adult life a little bit, because when we were in the community bathroom, there were people that came in to clean it and kind of like restore toilet paper and all of that stuff, so we really didn't have to think about that. But then sophomore year, we were in charge of cleaning our own bathroom and buying toilet paper and anything else that we needed. So that was one thing that we struggled with sometimes because we didn't have a really consistent schedule on who was going to clean it. So that was a little hard, but again, it's all about communication and just working with people. That's kind of how adult life is. But that was something that I noticed, is we were starting to kind of have to be responsible, and it's not just like your parents holding your hand anymore. My second year of college was also a huge growing year for me in my campus involvement. Of course, I was already involved in AZD from my freshman year because you stay in your organization throughout college unless you want to drop, but I personally loved it, so I never wanted to drop. So I stayed in AZD, and it was a really cool experience for me because it was my first time being on the other side of things through recruitment as a sister. It felt like just the day before that I'd gone through recruitment as a new member, and then now I was a sister and I was talking to new people and getting to kind of see everything from that side, especially with the new member process once we had taken new girls, which is honestly one of the most fun times in Greek life because you're just learning everything and it's such a fun experience. You're meeting so many new people and it's just amazing. It's so hard to explain how awesome Greek life is unless you've been in it. It's hard to understand, to be honest. So within AZD itself, I did a lot of growing my second year. I took a little sister. Her name is Natasha, and she's honestly my other half. I love her so much, and I'm so glad that we found each other through AZD because she's still, to this day, one of my best friends. She totally is going to be one of my bridesmaids one day, just like Bridget will be. I just love the people that AZD brought me to. Another cool thing that happened with that fall new member class is that Bridget actually went through recruitment and joined, and that was one of the most like painful weekends ever because we were such close friends, but we couldn't talk because I couldn't like have her be biased about joining AZD or anything like that. Like, she needed to find her own home. But when I found out that she got a bid for AZD, I was so excited. I almost knocked her over on bid day, and it was so much fun to be kind of living with her and seeing her go through her whole new member process. I loved it so much. It made us that much closer as friends because we really grew into being sisters, which was just amazing. And then I also took a leadership position in AZD in the late fall semester because the way that my chapter does it is yearly positions, so you take a position in December and you have it until the next December. I took a position as a recruitment assistant, which is basically the second-hand girl to the recruitment MVP, and she basically manages the entire recruitment process for an entire year. It was probably one of the biggest growing experiences that I had in my college career, and I loved being Katie's recruitment assistant so much. Katie is another one of my close friends, and I think having those positions together really helped us to grow that much closer, and we learned quite a bit about each other and really got to recruit some amazing girls for the chapter. So I loved that so much. My second year of college was also a point where I got even more involved on campus, because being in one Greek organization and Relay for Life apparently wasn't enough for me. When the opportunity came up to join and be a founding member of Delta Kappa Alpha, I honestly could not say no. It is a professional fraternity specifically focused on film and video and that entire art form and kind of helping each other to grow professionally. So there was no way that I could have said no. When I went to the info session and learned more about it, the way that the coordinator talked about DKA was the way that I felt about AZD, and the opportunity to have the kind of bond that I had with my sisters, with other film majors and people who were interested in the same things as me was something that I definitely couldn't turn away. I'm so glad that I ended up joining DKA because it ended up really being one of the most important things in my college experience and just something that I love so much and I'm so grateful for to this day. DKA definitely went through a lot of changes while I was a part of it. That fall semester, my second year, we were founding members and we went through our pledging process and learned everything about DKA and what it means to be a member. And then the spring semester, we got to turn around and be the kind of first member class to recruit more members, which was so intimidating. I will never forget the day that I got the phone call and our coordinator asked me to be recruitment chair. I was terrified because no one had ever done recruitment on campus for DKA. It was our first semester as a public organization on campus and it was such a big step. He told me that he thought I would be perfect for it and be a good fit because I'd gone through recruitment as a sorority member and I kind of knew the ins and outs of it already. And it was really interesting to get that phone call because it was actually a few days after I'd gotten recruitment assistant for AZD. So basically for that next year and then some, I lived and breathed recruitment and membership recruitment for both organizations, which was so crazy but so worth it. It was awesome to get to bring in so many amazing people into both organizations. Spring semester, after we took our first new member class, I took 2 more littles. I can't believe I have 3 littles, but they're honestly the best things that have happened to my life. I love them so much. My DK littles names are Brian and Edwin, and they're both amazing people. Brian, I know you're probably watching this because I know you stalk my channel, so hi, I love you. You're great. It was such a fun experience to get to take littles in DK as well because they are both such passionate and creative people, and it was just so fun to get to form those connections with them. Academically, my second year, I definitely learned a lot. I took 15 credits and ended up taking 14 credits my spring semester. This was one of the first times in college that I really hit a wall and realized that I needed to make a change because I was just so stressed that I was literally calling my mom and having crying breakdowns, and that's just not a healthy place to be at all. So I was taking initially 17 credits my second semester, spring semester, and with everything that was going on with AZD, helping run that recruitment, helping run DKA recruitment, helping start to plan for Relay for Life, it really was just a lot to balance. So maybe a regular college student who wasn't involved could do 17 credits, but it was just too much for me. My classes were pretty demanding and I just was so stressed and really couldn't keep up with things, and I didn't want to be doing that anymore. So I really took a good look at my schedule and realized that one of my classes was not quite what I had hoped it would be, and I really didn't need it. It was an elective class, so I decided to go ahead and drop it because I knew if I cut one class out then I would have that much less to focus on and really be able to hone in on the classes that I was already taking. So along with that, another piece of advice that I have for you guys going into college is to make sure to spread out your upper level classes, because that spring semester I took a few too many at once and it ended up stressing me out so much. So definitely make sure to kind of spread out your gen eds and electives and kind of easier classes with those harder classes. It'll really just keep your sanity that much better, I promise. I know from experience. So work-wise, I also got a second job on campus. Again, I know I sound like a crazy person. I was super involved and did a lot of things in college, but I had so much fun doing it. I loved being busy. Sitting around makes me crazy, so job searching right now has been a pain. But anyway, it was a internship with the Washington Scholars Program, which is the program that put on the Washington Journalism and Media Conference, and also another summer program. They basically run conferences for high school students on campus, and for those of you who don't know, WJMC is actually what brought me to Mason. I talked more about that in my first college experience video if you want to hear more. It was so cool for things to come full circle and get to work with WSP. I was getting to help out with the planning process and like mail outs and just anything else that they needed in the office, and it was great to get to work with those people and get to meet new friends who again had similar interests to me. So I totally recommend being open to any opportunity that comes your way in college, because you'll have a lot of unique opportunities like I did with this internship and get to work with a lot of really cool people. I loved that internship so much. I wish it lasted longer than that semester, but I really couldn't continue it my senior year because there was just way too much going on. So this second year of college, I think my biggest lesson was learning the importance of being organized and staying on top of things. There was so much to keep track of, and honestly, having a planner saved my life. This is so important. If you go to college, you need one of these. I promise you will save yourself so much stress, because you can just, you know, take down literally everything that's going on in your life. And I mean, a lot of the pages look like this, with like writing everywhere and me scribbling out stuff when it got canceled or I finished it. And this way you can keep track of everything that's going on. You can write down when you have shifts of work if you're working, you can write down assignments and when they're due. If you're involved on campus, you can write down events and everything. And it really just helps you to kind of prioritize everything and figure out what you're going to do in each day and just keep your sanity and keep on top of things so you don't forget something. I definitely had moments where that happened, and it sucks so much to take a 0 on something just because you forgot about it, or to miss out on an event because you forgot about it. It's just not very fun. So really overall, I do think that was my biggest lesson with my second year of college, is the importance of being organized and keeping track of everything, because honestly it will keep you sane, and planners are amazing. I can't recommend them enough. I can't